cette semaine, leçon numéro 2. Aujourd'hui, on va faire de la lecture. On va lire un petit texte et ensuite on va répondre à quelques questions. Et pour la partie 2, on va faire du vocabulaire. Cette fois, on va voir les mois de l'année et ensuite on va prendre quelques expressions. So, hi everyone. I was saying that today we have reading and vocabulary. We're going to read a small text, short text, and then answer a few questions. And then we're going to learn new words, months of the year this time. And then we're going to learn about some expressions on how to say last month, next month, etc. So here's our short text. We're going to read it, and you may be surprised to find a few or like most of the words are words we already have learned in past lessons. So let me read this for you and then you can guess which ones you already know. M-A, ma, R-I, ri, E, almost silent. Marie, A, O-I, wa, T-R-O-I, trois, and the S is silent. Marie a 3. R-E-C-T, rec, T-A-N-G, T-A-N, ton, G-L, gle, rectangle, rectangles. Marie a 3 rectangles verts. So this is a color. L-U, C-A, K, because A is a strong vowel. Lucas, and the S is silent. A, one. T-R-I, angle. So A-N-G-L, angle. T-R-I, triangle. R-O-U, rouge, G-E, rouge, is almost silent. S-E-B, Sébastien. Remember, I told you last time E-E-N is bien, as in bien, viens. Okay, so bien, E-E-N, bien. We're going to learn this more in detail next time. Sébastien a 5. C-E-R, cercle. Orange. Sébastien a 5 cercles orange. T-R-O-I-S-O-I, 3. Yes, silent. 3. T-R-I, A-N-G-L-E-S, A-N-G, angle, L-E-S, triangle. G-A-U, A-U is O, jaune. E-T, always E. So E-T, E-S-T, we pronounce them E. R-E-C, rec, T-A-N-G, tangle, L-E, rectangle. O-I, N-O-I-R, noir. So let me read it once for you. Marie a 3 rectangles verts. Lucas a un triangle rouge. Sébastien a 5 cercles orange, 3 triangles jaunes et un rectangle noir. So, here I just forgot an S, and we shouldn't forget S's because it's strong, okay? You just don't forget S's. So this is our short text. Now, you see I've left some space here because now I'm going to ask questions and I'm going to explain the questions, but I'm not going to answer the questions. You are going to do this in your homework, okay? So, I hope you understood this. So I'm going to give you just a hint. A means has. Okay, so Marie has 3 rectangles verts. If you really don't know what trois rectangles verts means, you just go and check your past vocabularies and past material slides. You'll find every other word here, and even this one, okay? So I just give you a hint to make it easier so you don't have to look up this word too. So this is all about the text. Now let's move on to the questions about this text. So here are the questions. Now we're going to do only 3 questions, okay? And I'm going to explain these questions, but we are going to kind of continue doing this, like taking a text and then questions, text, questions, text, questions. Why? Because now that you can read it, pronounce it, you have to understand what you're saying, okay? So the best way to understand the text is to ask the right questions. So here, I'm going to ask the questions for you. You only have to answer them. If you can answer them, then you understood the text. If you can't, then maybe you need to review your old vocabularies, or maybe you need to read it once more, or maybe you need to focus more, but just you need to do something more, okay? So here is the text and here are the questions. Let me explain the questions. So first of all, I would like to remind you that we already have learned these question words. No, except this one, but this one I'm going to explain it, okay? So this one, Q-U-I. Now the U after the Q is always silent. I'm jumping from Q to I directly, and I in French is I. Qui, qui. There's nothing in between. I don't say qui or I don't know, I say just qui, directly. Qui, a. Now you remember a means has. So just look up qui. What's the meaning of qui? A has. Un, it's number. Okay, so it's one. I'm going to give you this. Qui a un rectangle noir? Now, I'm not going to explain rectangle noir. Okay, obviously it's here. But you just look up your vocabulary, but I am pretty sure you know the meaning of rectangle noir. So just understanding this word will give you the possibility, will make it possible to answer this question, okay? So, qui a un rectangle noir? Now, the next question here, that's what I wanted to talk about. Q and U was actually que. So, let's write it here. Que, que. So, when you see Q and U, always look at que. Look up the meaning of que, it's in your old vocabulary, same as qui. Que a Marie, a has Marie, Marie is a name, okay? So has Marie and que. Just put the sentence together, put the question together, and then try to find the answer. They are pretty simple questions, okay? And the answers should be pretty easy. I don't want a sentence as an answer. I just want a word, 2 words. Just give me the answer, nothing more, nothing less. Now, combien. Combien is one of the words we did not study. Combien means how much or how many. Because, yeah, French is awesome. We don't have a difference between how much and how many. It's all combien. Okay? So, how much, how many? Everything's combien. Combien de triangles ont-ils tous? So, on means have. Okay? On means have. Il means they. Tous, all. So, how many, blah blah blah, do they have all together? Okay, so all together. Combien, how many, how much of this do they have? Okay, so you just obviously go and count what they have, if they have triangle, and how many do they have all together. So this is all about the questions. I know they seem very simple, but we're going to start very easy, and then we're going to go and make it a little bit more complex every time we take a new or read a new text. So good luck everyone, and let's move on to our next part, which is going to be vocabulary. So when we look at this vocabulary, there are actually 2 good things and maybe 1 bad thing. But let's start with the good things. The good things is that in French we also have 12 months. Okay, so this is not going to change. The second good thing is that these last ones here sound almost exactly like in English. So I'm going to read them in French and just guess which month I'm talking about. Septembre, octobre, novembre, décembre. So they sound like September, October, November, and December. Now there is one big difference, is that in the end here, in English it's ER, in French it's RE. Okay, RE, RE, RE. And then we have just one other small difference. This one here, December, we add this slash on the E because in French, for it to be pronounced E, we need to add this accent. We call it accent aigu. And we're going to talk more about them and their rules in the future. Now, décembre, we have this and this. They are the two differences. Now, you may find some other similarities, like in May, it's May, okay, except we don't write it with Y but with E. And then Avril, April, except it's not P, it's V. March, except it's not Ch, it's S. Mars, and that's kind of all about it. You can find you can find it. You can say that janvier, février sounds a little bit like January, February, but really it's not that much. So I'm not going to talk about it. Okay, so janvier. Let me read them first once, and then I'm going to read them syllable per syllable. Janvier, février, mars, avril, mai, juin, juillet, août, septembre, octobre, novembre, décembre. Good. J-A-N, Jean. A-N, on. V-I, vie. Vie. E-R-E, janvier. Janvier. Remember, ER at the end of a word is always E in French. Janvier. F-E with an accent. Fève. R-I. Ri. E-R-E. Again. E-E. Février. Février. Janvier. Février. M-A-R-S. Mars. So you're going to say that the S is silent at the end of the word. Yes, this is an exception. French people love exceptions. Okay, so you're going to learn a lot about exceptions. Here, Mars is one of the exceptions where we have to pronounce the S, even though it's at the end of a word and it should be silent. Mars, then Ave, Av, R-I-L, Ril, Avril. Here, there's no exception. The L is always pronounced at the end of a word, okay? M-A-I, now, you know from last week's lesson, yeah? A-I is pronounced E, E. M-E, mai. So, avril, mai. Now, this one might be a little bit complicated. U-I-N, ouin, ouin. And then juin, juin. Then juillet. So here you remember the rule I told you about when I have I, then L-L-E. It becomes I. So here's the same thing. Juillet. But because we have ET, then the ET becomes E, it becomes juillet. Okay, instead of I. Juillet. July. A-O-U-T. So here there's a very easy rule. Just ignore the A and ignore this hat and pronounce it. Oot. 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 Okay. Now you tell me T is silent. It's the same thing. T. Here is an exception. Oot. This month is also an exception. It says Mars. Oot. So we pronounce these two consonants. Then here, S-E-P, SEP, T-E-M. Here the E-M acts like a E-N. E-N is pronounced on. Tombre. SEP, tombre. OC, ok, TOB, tob, re, octobre, octobre. NO, V, no, pardon, NO, no, VEM, vont, BRE, bre, novembre. Ok? DE, D, CEM, sans, BRE, bre, décembre, décembre. Janvier, février, mars, avril, mai, juin, juillet, août, septembre, octobre, novembre, décembre. Septembre, octobre, novembre, décembre. So this might be the easiest, so I advise you to start from the end. If you don't prefer starting from the end or whatever, just start from the beginning, but I find it easier to start by memorizing these because they are so like their English counterparts. So this is all about the vocabulary part. Now let's move on to the expressions. Now, how to say that this month we are in December, next month will be January, okay? Last month was November, okay? So I just give you 3 sentences, and these sentences, they are like, they say we are now in December, the next month will be, the last month was. So, nous sommes en décembre literally means we are. This is verb to be. We are. On, in. Décembre, December. We are in December. So, if I want to say this month, I will say ce mois. That's another way of saying it. Ce mois où nous sommes en décembre. Le mois prochain sera janvier. Mois is month, prochain next. So the next month, except we're in French, so say the month next. The month next will be January, so the next month. Now, le mois dernier, dernier means last, so the month last, not the last month, was November. So don't really pay attention to these words. They're like the past, the future, and the present of verb to be. Okay, so don't bother if you can't remember them. And just really focus on this. Le mois dernier, le mois prochain, et ce mois. This month, next month, last month. And then you can remember them by saying, yeah, that we are in December, so you know that this means we are. January is in the future, so we will be in January, so obviously it's the next month. And here, November is in the past, so we were in November, so it's last month, okay? That's why I gave you these examples. Now, good luck completing this and doing your homework also. Then, see you on Zoom later, and goodbye!